Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookham here. Today we begin the new series of interviews featuring one of the most popular bodybuilders of all time, the Quad Father, the Golden Eagle, Tom Platz. My recent interview with Tom went on for hours, and I decided to split it up into segments, and in this first section, it serves as an introduction to the series with Tom Platz describing his origins and his current experiences traveling the world, giving seminars and giving back to the bodybuilding community that he loves so much. Enjoy.
That's fun.
So I'll just optimize this. There we go.
Okay. You see me okay?
Yeah. Apologies for the setting up. My other camera, it's a much better camera than this, and it just is very temperamental. It was working fine. I had everything set up, and suddenly I changed the position, and it just didn't want to work anymore. Technology's a pain.
Hey, I just want to let you know I'm a big fan, and I've watched you work for the last year or so, and I'm like, wow, this guy loves what he does, and does what he loves, And I was like, wow, that's the kind of person I'd like to be interviewed by sometime, And sure enough, Cha calls me and says, hey, you never guess who's contacting me? I'm like, great, wonderful, I'm at your service. Anything you want to know, I'll tell you stuff I shouldn't tell you too. Okay.
Thank you, Tom. Can I tell you Tom? Can I call you Tom?
Yeah, sure. Please call me Tom.
Okay, I'm Carlos. It's
Carlos. Okay, it's hard to call. When somebody's a doctor, it's like a doctor's appointment. So.
Fine. It's an absolute honor to meet you, Tom. I'm a huge fan. I've got almost all your books, I believe. These in the early 80s.
Yes.
And soon after, Pro Style Bodybuilding. Just love your stuff.
Oh, stuff. Simple days. It's just no fax machines, just a phone, maybe answer machines. That's all we had,
That's right, back then. and doll phones.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I forgot about those.
Yeah. So shall we begin the interview?
Sure, absolutely, please.
Fantastic. Okay. As I said, it's an absolute pleasure to have you, Tom, on my channel. I'm a massive fan. I've got a whole list of questions. I don't know whether we'll have all the time today to go through everything, but we'll try our best.
Okay.
I
will as well.
Okay. Firstly, where does the name Tom Platz or Platz itself originate from? Is it Austrian, German, Swiss? What's the background there?
Yes, my grandmother came from Vienna, and so in fact, when I go to Vienna or go to Germany, it's like, man, I know this place. It's familiar, It smells like home, It's funny how that occurs, but yeah, that's my grandmother and grandfather came from Austria. Probably, during the Hitler times, 1930 something, 32 or something earlier than that maybe. But, they migrated over here, and I always admire them. Wow, to move your whole family and just to move to a different country. How hard is that with a different language?
Yeah.
I go to Switzerland, I'm lost. I'm like, But I've always, I think the German, the Austrian and the German roots, so to speak, have served me well. I think that basically inherited genetics, which I really don't believe in genetics too much, because I think it's limiting. You limit yourself right away when you say that. Maybe your hair color, and that's about it. Okay, but I take great pride in coming from that part of the world.
Great, fantastic. I figured. It means place. Is that correct?
Right, that's correct.
Yeah. I'm in Switzerland at the moment.
I know that. I've researched you. No.
So I've had to learn the language the hard way.
I like Switzerland. I really love Switzerland. When I went there a couple of years ago to do a seminar, and it was just, as soon as you fly into Switzerland, it's like Rolex watches and money and banks. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a rich, the whole thing. And I'm like, and I was picked up by a limo, and the guy was a financial analyst. I'm like, oh, wow. Compared to some other countries, it's like it's glitzy. It's like reminds me of Paris and
Wow.
Paris and Switzerland and sort of the sexy countries. You know.
If you want to call it that, yeah. I mean, I actually wanted to ask you about that. I remember finding out about that, believe it or not, a week later. I found out that you were at the David gym, and I was like, oh no, I'm 45 minutes from there. Do you plan to do other seminars in Switzerland?
Yes, I do. I love to travel. I love to go to different gyms and do exhibitions. Well, exhibitions I don't do anymore. I could. I happened because of COVID. I got in pretty good shape, guest posing shape, but I'm not going to pose anymore. I'm not going to pose, you know. But it's funny how you go back to your roots when you can't travel as much based upon circumstances. And all of a sudden, my body started coming together again. I'm getting in the I'm like, wow, this is great. I'm having a great time in the gym. I'm like, okay, I guess 67 isn't that old, okay?
Yeah.
But I do plan on coming again. It's in the works right now. Cha and I are talking. In fact, we were talking about the very thing last night. I miss it. I'm the kind of person who loves it. Next country, next country, next country. I like to move, I imagine when I turn 70 in a few years, I probably won't want to travel as much.
Mm-hmm.
And Cha and I talked about that. She's like, you don't have to work so much. I go, I love it. I can't just stay home or stay in my office. I want to go out and see the people, just like in the old days.
Yeah.
When I used to guest pose every single weekend for 15 years, I was on stage. Okay, guest pose. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have Instagram, so you had to go out there and see and greet the people and pound the pavement, so to speak. And so I love that. I love the audience and the people and being on stage. And by the time the Olympia came around, there's another exhibition.
Yeah.
Who wasn't posing came kind of like naturally. And but I do. I enjoy very much maintaining global mobility. I call it global mobility. It sounds so cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a great term.
Yes, and a friend of mine who passed away a while back, Fred Hatfield.
Oh yeah.
Say that. He was, Tom, I have to maintain global mobility. I'm like, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a great term. I mean,
all influenced by people in their lives.
That's what I was just going to say. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, everybody knows you as such a expressive, full of feelings and emotions and positive energy. And equally, you must feel the same. The energy you give out must be portrayed back to you. And I'm sure that's something you must enjoy when you do these seminars and things.
Well, it fills me up. When I first walked into, a few years ago, one of my seminars, I was doing other things involved in corporate life. And then I had the opportunity to do some seminars. And I went to a gym in Hungary, 800 people in the gym waiting for me. Wow. Holy smokes, how do you know me? You were born, you weren't even around yet, It's like, it's heartwarming. It is. It's not about how big, but you're right. It's about the real meaningful moments in life. And I went to this little bodybuilding show. Well, I call it little bodybuilding. It was the Masters World Championships recently. A friend of mine was competing, so I wanted to silently and politely show up to support him. As soon as I got there, everybody was from the Masters, 67 years old. I was raised with them. Hey, Tom, remember this, remember that, remember Detroit? It was like going back to a reunion in high school or something. That's what it felt. But yeah, I love human contact. I don't think I could ever be full-fledged tech guy. I like getting out there and shaking hands and seeing people, look at them in the eyes, and it's something that even on stage, I used to love, I tell guys now that I work with, each pose has to mean something. You just can't pose, hit the pose. What does it mean? What's your storyline? You got to talk to the audience non-verbally. To see somebody at my point in my life right now, it's not about me competing in the Mr. Olympia or me getting ahead or me making another $1 million. It's about me assisting others. I don't like the word helping, but helping others get there, because I've been there and it was, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to 1980. No, I love being 67 now. Okay. I never thought I'd make it this far, to tell you the truth. but there's a certain tranquility in being older. You know, you go, I've been there, I've done it, I know how it goes. And you sort of calm down. You go, oh, okay, relax, everybody. Let me tell you, you know. So it's fun to train other people, men and women. I love a young girl who's fired up and ready to, you know, kill life. I'm like, okay, you know. But that's, I think when you get older, your goals change. It's not about me anymore. I mean, when I was younger, how much money can I make? How many exhibitions can I do? Bam, bam, you know. Then it was about winning the Mr. Olympia for many, many years. And now, even towards the end of my career, when I was still posing, it's not about winning. It's not about awards. Awards, and everybody in bodybuilding, it's about awards. How many Olympics did you win? You know, I get it. Because I was there. That was me back in 80 through 90, 80 through 87. But for me, I'm more of an artist. I mean, does my work affect people? How does my work make a difference in the industry as an artist? I mean, most performers, especially female singers, they want to, and I'm thinking about somebody who greatly inspires me, Amy Winehouse.
Okay.
I mean, her work, she wore her heart right here, and she has some issues in her life, yeah, but she sang her heart out. And when I listened to her, I met her one time, and I'm like, oh, she reminds me of my ex-wife, you know, Marlboro Reds and a leather jacket. And I like that. I'm attracted to that, you know, because I'm from the health world, you know. So I was always liked girls who were very, you know, let's party, you know what I mean? Which got me in trouble over the years. You know, that's where Cha comes in. Cha's like, you know, my savior. She's an island girl from Hawaii who really just doesn't care about all the stuff. I mean, you know, and for a long time, I was like, you have to live here, you have to drive this, you have to live next to Ferrigno and Arnold, you know, and have that world. And now I don't care. It's like, you know, I can eat. I'm eating good and feel pretty good, and don't have to drive a $500,000 car anymore. I'm like, or $200,000 car as it was then. And it's sort of like, okay, I don't need stuff. I mean, stuff was so important to me for the first 40, 50 years of my life. And then now it's like, I'm looking for quality of life, and it's sort of a simplistic approach. And it can still get complicated, don't get me wrong, but I'm really going off on a tangent from all your questions, and I tend to do that. And I'm going to try to stay on base with you and answer your questions.
It's okay. I think this is great. We're having a nice introduction. You're telling me how your life is at the moment. You're giving back. And I think a lot of people, at least for this introduction, are going to appreciate that. You're so loved and popular in the bodybuilding community, even to this day, that I think people want to hear your thoughts as well about how you currently are. And I think this is great. That's fantastic. I don't mind you going off on tangents. Personally,
Tom, hang on.
I mean, I've got my family, but if I didn't have my family, I could talk to you all day. Tom, I could.
I know. It's funny. It's like universal comradeship. I might go anywhere in the world. We have friends and the instant friends. Oh yeah. You know, what a great thing, man. I mean, what a life we have, you know. Everybody knows you because of your videos. It's like, wow. That's one good thing about technology. You know?
It is. It's fantastic.
So that was an introduction to the new Tom Platz series of interviews, and I will be sure to upload these regularly. If you have enjoyed the video, please give it a like, subscribe, and leave your comments, and click the bell button so you are notified of the next video in this series. As you saw and heard, Tom is such a positive guy and full of energy, and I can tell you that I really enjoyed my conversation with him. In the next video, Tom describes how he started bodybuilding, studying with the legends in California. Anyway, that's it from me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now. As a natural bodybuilder, it is imperative to know your own testosterone levels, as they are a reflection of the anabolic environment created by your diet and training. I would highly recommend using the male hormone test kit from Let's Get Checked, and make sure you use my code GOLDEN30 for a 30% discount. Again, the advantage of checking yourself regularly is that you will know how well your body is anabolically primed to put on the much desired muscle you are working for. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Vince Gironda's approach to bodybuilding, his principles, and all these tips of wisdom that he has, I mean, there's so much stuff that probably hasn't been proven by science, and it will take science to prove or disprove Vince. But to be honest, these 3 books, I believe, which I call the Classic Physique Bundle, are the best books that Vince ever came out with. And they, of course, are the Wild Physique, the Master Series, and the Pro Series. Have a look at it this way. The Wild Physique, I believe, is like the ABCs of Vince Gironda's principles to bodybuilding. He teaches you the exercises and his principles. But how do you put them together? Well, the Master Series is a 14-month program of using all of these principles, all of the diets that Vince came out with, all of the exercises. And believe me, it's a brilliant, brilliant program. Many people have used it. I know personally a lot of bodybuilders that have actually used it and made fantastic results with it. And of course, the Pro Series was a book that he came out with later on, specially targeted for getting into competition. It's just these 3 books, as I call it, the Classic Physique Bundle, Vince's best work, and available, of course, at www.goldenerabookworm.com. Now, the Pro Series of Bodybuilding, which was targeted for professional bodybuilders, contains 6 programs, each of which go for 2 months each. So it's a whole year, again, in preparation for competition. Online training is now available, including my new program, Novice to Classic, a program geared towards beginners and novices looking at developing a classic physique, as well as Classic Cut, geared at those who wish to lose weight and gain muscle fast. Details available at www.goldenerabookworm.com. Need a bodybuilding poster for your gym or office? Then check out Ironman Magazine archive.smugmug.com for the highest quality posters on the planet. Scroll through the galleries of all the legends, including greats such as Arnold, Frank Zane, Sergio Oliva, Serge Nubret, Tom Platz, and Larry Scott, and much, much more, and select your poster now. To support your favorite YouTube channel, please visit teespring.com/stores/goldenerabookworm for merchandise, including t-shirts, hoodies, face masks, phone cases, and much, much more. Once again, at teespring.com/stores/goldenerabookworm. Become a patron at www.patreon.com/goldenerabookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the golden era of bodybuilding.